So these red turd-looking things are probiotic microbes from the Lactobacillus family of bacterial strains. And they're just a tiny part of the 100 trillion bacteria that populate our gut. These live organisms in the gut have extremely important processes in your body, and they impact your immune system, your brain function, hormone production, and they obviously play a central role in the health of the gut and your digestion. So what exactly is a probiotic? Let's take a look at the history behind probiotics and why they are so important. So in the early 20th century, a zoologist by the name of Elie Metchnikoff pioneered the research on gut health, bacteria, and immunity. And one of his first realizations was that Bulgarian peasants who lived in extreme poverty could only afford cultured yogurt to feed themselves with, and they actually lived far longer than the people that were well off and didn't eat nearly as much fermented foods. This eventually led them to figure out that fermented foods contain good types of microbes, which are probiotics, now known as probiotics, that were able to colonize the gut and have significant effects on immunity, overall health, and digestion. Now, in recognition for his work, Metchnikoff was actually awarded the Nobel Prize in 1908 and is now recognized as the father of immunity. It wasn't until 1965 that the actual term probiotic was coined to describe these types of live microbes found in certain types of fermented foods and in the gut of human and animals. So what exactly are probiotics? Now, the simplest definition comes from the British microecology expert Roy Fuller, who defined probiotics in 1989 as live microbial feed which beneficially affects the host animal by improving its intestinal microbial balance. Now, in other words, probiotics are beneficial bacteria that, when used to colonize the gut, can positively impact your health. So let's take a look at the benefits and the research behind probiotics. A list of scientifically proven benefits of probiotic administration that has slowly accumulated over the last 100 years is actually staggeringly awesome. Whereas the main benefit of probiotics is without a doubt related to gut health and immune system function, which, believe it or not, 80% of the immune system actually resides in your gut. There are also some surprising benefits to overall health and hormone production, even brain health, intelligence, memory, and mood. Now let's take a look at some specifics. Now, this study shows significant improvements in people with ulcerative colitis and inflammatory bowel syndrome, or IBS, when taking a probiotic. And this study shows the stimulation of the production of T cells, which are key players in immunity and fighting off virus-infected and tumorous cells. These studies show that probiotics are a necessary cofactor in the production of vitamin K2, vitamin B12, and folic acid in the gut. And this study shows a significant reduction of constipation and the length of diarrhea symptoms due to reduced inflammatory response and recolonization of the gut flora. Now, in this study in men, probiotics increase testicular size, sperm production, testosterone levels, and the levels of gonadotropins that stimulate T production in male rats. And these studies showed reduced symptoms of central nervous system disorders such as anxiety, depression, autism, and OCD. Now, these studies showed improved cognitive functions, especially memory formation and retrieval, when using probiotics. Now, the exact mechanism of this is still unknown. Now, this study showed a reduced stress response to danger with accompanied improvements in escape learning in rodents. And this is possibly due to GABA modulation. Now, you can get probiotics from either probiotic-containing foods, or you can get them from a daily use supplement. So let's take a look at some of the really good foods that you should be eating regularly to help positively influence your gut flora. Now, first up on the list is kefir. And kefir is the mixture of fermented milk and kefir grains, and it's one of the most well-known sources of probiotics with more than 3,000 years of recorded history of its use. It contains anywhere from 10 to 35 different strains of probiotics, depending on the type of kefir. Second up, we have yogurt. There are a lot of different types of fermented yogurts that come from different milk-giving animals living in different conditions, eating different kinds of food, and the best is organic grass-fed sheep's or cow's milk yogurt. Now, third up, we have sauerkraut, which is fairly high in digestive enzymes, probiotics, and vitamin C. It's one of the greatest digestive and gut health foods, and it's really popular in Germany. It's even studied for its beneficial effects. Now, raw cheese, which is made with fermentation, it has a lot of different digestive enzymes and live probiotic cultures. And the thing is, it has to be raw cheese for you to get these benefits, as pasteurization kills the probiotics. Now, kimchi is actually another really good food that you could be eating, and it's made by mixing ingredients such as Chinese cabbage, red pepper, carrots, radishes, ginger, garlic, onion, fish sauce, and salt and this distant relative of sauerkraut is then fermented for 5 to 15 days. And last but not least, we have kombucha, which has actually been around for 2,000 years, but has recently regained popularity. And it's a type of yeast and probiotic fermented black tea that's been consumed in Japan and rural Russia for many, many thousands of years. This habit slowly made its way to the Western world, and now it's very popular in health food stores. Now let's talk about how to choose the right probiotic supplement for you. Now, like we've said a few times already in this video, not all bacteria are good, and with that, I'd like to tell you that not all probiotic supplements are good either. Now, you've probably seen a lot of different brands that bolster claims like they have the highest amount of CFUs, or colony-forming units, on the market, and that's great and all, but what really matters is the strains in the probiotics, and then the amount of those strains matters. But if you get a probiotic with bad strains in it, then the amount of the actual live bacteria doesn't even matter. So instead of being obsessed about the amount of bacteria, you need to look for specific strains like the following. Now, first up, we have Bifidobacterium longum, or B. longum, and it's one of the early inhabitants of the gut of infants, and it actually prevents the growth of pathogenic organisms and is crucial in part of the natural human gut flora. And next up, we have Lactobacillus acidophilus, and it occurs naturally in the mouth and gastrointestinal tract of humans and animals, and is known for its effect in converting sugars to lactic acid and decreasing the amount of toxins in circulation. Now, next up we have Lactobacillus rhamnosus. Now, it's a chain-like probiotic strain with very interesting effects in regards to preventing stress response and suppressing cortisol levels via the GABA receptors of the brain. Now, another great one is Lactobacillus casei. Found in a lot of dairy products, it's one of the most well-known probiotics, and it's necessary for carbohydrate digestion and works to prevent the incidence of leaky gut in the presence of gut inflammation. Now, another great one is Bifidobacterium breve, and it's the most prominent type of bacteria in the human GI tract, and it's most notably known for its effect in reducing constipation and improving metabolism. Now, Lactobacillus reuteri commonly colonizes the gut of healthy humans and animals, and it's been shown to significantly increase testicular size and T levels in male rodents. Bifidobacterium infantis works by better utilizing carbohydrates in the gut, but also has been researched for its effect in significantly relieving symptoms of IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome. Now, this might sound like a mouthful, and that's because it is. These are actually a lot of different really beneficial strains, and it can be difficult to get them from foods, and not all of us like to eat fermented foods. You know, some people don't think that fermented foods taste good, while some people do. You can get a lot of great probiotics from a very healthy diet that's rich in probiotic-rich foods. However, if we can find all these strains in one place in a supplement, it becomes very convenient to take that on a daily basis instead of having to go through and eat all these different foods. And that's why at Truth Nutraceuticals, we've developed Florasil 50, which, like I said, not only contains an amazing amount of active colony-forming units of bacteria, 50 billion, which is where you need to be for a daily use probiotic that's strong enough to really help you. But it also contains all of the strains that I actually just mentioned, and they all have all these amazing benefits for you, especially with your gut-brain connection and keeping you healthy by recolonizing your gut with good bacteria and positively influencing that ratio so that you can have way more good bacteria than bad bacteria in your gut and experience the positive benefits from it. And if you want to learn more about Florasil, you can go to truthnutri.com. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can just click through to the next page. We have a lot more information there, but if you're watching this on truthnutri.com, then you'll see it right here on this page. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something in this video, and I am really looking forward to hearing your success story while using Florasil 50.